Welcome to the Sales Legend Podcast, the #1 podcast for inspiring sales leaders and professionals who are eager and hungry to become sales legends. Welcome everyone to your Sales Legend Podcast. My name is Domenic Presutti, founder and CEO of L2L Coaching, a high-performance sales leadership training organization. We are all about creating phenomenal and legendary growth and value for sales professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, sales teams, and entire organizations, helping them create phenomenal and legendary sales cultures and sales results. We are also the creators of the 10x10 Sales Legend Growth Model, creators of the Sales Legend Scorecard, and creators of the 8-Step Sales Legend Training Program. Becoming a sales legend is possible for everyone with the right training and learning. A sales legend is a sales professional who masters the art of connection, the art of discovery, and the art of closing. Today, I have the privilege of having with me an expert in the area of connection. Our goal is to bring value to you through the insights of industry leaders. My guest today is Laural Carr, founder and CEO of Impagination Inc. Impagination Inc. is an award-winning marketer and creator of the BizBackdrop, and also a multi-purpose branded backdrop for live and virtual presentations. She is also a Colby certified consultant, passionate about working authentically to achieve results naturally. She helps smart, savvy businesses to simplify business development and shorten the sales cycle by connecting who they are with who they serve. Impagination Inc. builds smart, targeted strategies to differentiate the business and streamline business development efforts to focus on easily finding more clients like your best clients. Their secret sauce is how they uniquely tailor the strategy and the message to be easy to execute by customizing for the persona of the people who drive business growth. Welcome, Laural. It's a true pleasure having you as our guest today.
Thank you so much, Domenic. I'm excited to be here.
So, Laural, today we'll be discussing about the importance of how connection or connecting efficiently is critical for any sales professionals. Before we talk about the importance of connection, I do have a few questions I would love to ask you.
And what are those?
So the first question is about your organization. You know, you've built such a great organization, impacting positively so many individuals and organizations. Make us understand, where did this all begin?
Wow. Well, we're going back a few years because we've been around for over 30 years now. But I would say it all started when I realized that when I was being approached for a solution or to execute a solution on behalf of an organization that was looking to grow, that they were limited in only asking for things that they'd already experienced. And I think we've all seen that before. So, what is it? The, 3 blind men and the elephant, they only know what each of them has experienced about the elephant, but they don't see the big picture. And it occurred to me that I needed to get in front of people before they made the decision of what it is they thought was the right solution. Because I was getting a bit of a reputation for coming in and disrupting a process that, had already gone through many approval levels, when I'm like, well, what about this? Or why are you doing that? So I was always that person that was challenging the real why and intent for a project and getting people to think about it differently and rethink it and coming up with a better solution. And I was willing to track the results with my clients. And what I realized is I'm not just a design or communication solution specialist. I'm actually a strategist, and I really took that seriously and completely pivoted my business to be in the strategy business and get ahead of those decisions that often limit what is possible.
You mentioned some fabulous words, this, disrupting, challenging, strategy. I think that it's great to see that to move forward. I think, being a positive disruptor is absolutely critical in today's world. So congratulations on, for being a positive disruptor.
Thank you. And here are some of our awards that show that we've been a positive disruptor.
Congratulations on all those awards. So second question, your business name, Impagination. Tell us how you came up with this name.
I could give you the short story or the long story. So I'll start with a little bit of the long story, and then you can decide if you want the short story. So the long story is a colleague of mine and I were brainstorming names for her business, and we came up with Impagination that I said to her, if for any reason you don't use this name, I want it. So that's the long story. The short story is, and this is also true, that it's a compound of imagination and pagination. And how we interpret that is that we think outside the page. So our solutions were not specifically, our solutions were always creative, imaginative, innovative, but we didn't feel constrained to make it fit on an 8.5, 11 piece of paper, or we really looked beyond that. And we're, I think a lot of the reason that we have, a wall of awards is because we took things to another level. And that's what Impagination means for us.
Well, thank you for that. And I think that what really strikes out the most is, in my mind, is the word, creative. I think that knowing you now for a while, I think creativity is an important part of your success. So, and I think that just by, Impagination, that's being extremely creative, and you are absolutely a creative person. So, congratulations on coming up with such a creative name.
That's lasted lasted through the test of time.
You are also the creator of the persona maker approach and impact formula. Explain to us the value of both these tools.
So the persona maker approach is really more our philosophy than a tool, but it's a conversation that we like to have so that when we are speaking with a prospect or what our clients, they understand the 5 pillars of how you need to show up. So persona is, your, by dictionary definition, is your role and how you show up in public. And so what we wanted people to remember is that how they show up is how they are perceived, and you have some design and control over that. So what we wanted to do is really do a deep dive to understand how our clients are authentically motivated and what's important to them, and use that to really create their unique value proposition. And I truly mean unique value proposition, because nobody else can be them. And so that's really the, what's behind the persona maker approach. It's really the first level of understanding how we work with our clients. And then the impact formula is a 5-step process that our clients have the option of being involved with. So the 5 steps, the first step is the strategy and objectives. And of course that, is all about understanding your persona. So going a deeper dive into the persona, not only of our clients, but of their clients. And from there, once we understand what the strategy and objectives are, which is an investment for, could be the lifetime of your business. And we've been working with clients for over 15 years who have been working through the same strategy that we created for them, maybe adjusting it, tweaking it as, there are different tools available to them. But the strategy remains the same. It's the bedrock. And then from there, if there are needs for other steps, we help them with the creative concept development. We help them with the art production. That could be copywriting, that could be a website, that could be branding, it could be a sales tool or whatever, whatever physical tools that they might need. We also manufacture, so we're very comfortable with everything from video to web development, to print, to actual creating physical objects that are branded for our clients. And then the fifth step is actually monitoring the results, building right into the strategy and objectives. How are you going to monitor the results? And what we find is that our clients get so enthusiastic about actually executing the strategy that they're not watching the results. And so sometimes they bring us in to be part of tracking the results and reporting those to them and giving them ongoing insights as to what's working, what's not working, and what needs to be adjusted. So that's our 5-step impact formula.
What's great about that, hearing you say exactly what you and your organization do, is basically a total 360-degree, business building design. So great.
And I think a lot of people miss the fact that the strategy and objectives can only be maintained by continuously, taking action through steps 2, 3, 4, and then tracking at 5, because that tracking component adds back into the strategy.
Absolutely. You've been running a successful business now for over 30 years, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm curious to know, and actually for all our listeners also, according to you, what are the elements required to be successful, and to continue being successful for the next 30 years?
I love this question. I honestly, you have to do what you do for your clients, for yourself. So we are always looking ahead. We are always looking at, what do we want things to look like in 12 months, in 3 years, in 5 years? And one thing I can tell you is, if you're in business for as long as I've been in business, you've pivoted your business many times. So I would say on about every 5 years, the business pivots and refines and fine tunes and becomes expands. So we either expand our offerings or we increase the reach that we have. So with that, there is a requirement for new tools, different kinds of collaborations and partners. So I think that the secret to our success is that I'm an expansive thinker. That's what I do for my clients, and I practice what I preach. So everything that we put in front of our clients is something we've already tested, we've already tried, we already know the pitfalls, we've already, weeded out what doesn't work, and we can offer them with confidence a solution that is going to work for them. And they don't have to worry about that. That's, I think, the biggest challenge for a lot of our clients, is taking on something new that's not proven. So if we can be that proving ground, we're happy to do that. And we're happy to report on our experience to have them avoid anything but success.
I wrote this down, and I absolutely love what you said. Do for your clients. That's absolutely fantastic. That is absolutely true. So thank you for that. So I think everyone now has a better understanding of your organization and what you do. So thank you for sharing that information with us. So now moving on to the power of connection. We often hear the following in sales: it's critical to understand our client's social style. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the importance of social styles when connecting with a client.
I think that is such an amazing question. And I maybe take it even a level further, Domenic. I see client style as being absolutely critical. When we're working with a client to help them show up authentically, we need to know their style. they need to know their style. And the one thing that I can say consistently is most people don't know their own style because we're just living it. We're just out there being ourselves. Sometimes I say, we're inside the jar and we can't see the label. So one of the things that we do is help our clients to understand what's in their jar and what's the label you need to put on that jar so the people that you want to attract are going to find you or are going to resonate with you. Because frankly, if you're not attracting and repelling people, you're just in the mushy middle of not being noticed. So what I would say is that you not only need to understand social style, as in that might come across like personality or their emotional style or their what we call affective style, but you do need to understand some of that because people buy based on how they feel. And we want to build on them feeling, either engaged or motivated or excited. We want to build on that, but they're going to automatically, but knowing how the brain operates and the three parts of the brain, they're going to automatically go into some thinking part of the mind, which is also part of the social style. And some people need to think longer than others. And some people need to, streamline the thinking part and get right into the action. So the three parts of the mind are the feeling, the thinking, and the doing. And we actually use an assessment tool, and that's, as a Kolbe certified consultant, that is what the Kolbe assessment looks at. It looks specifically at how you take action. And of course, sales, business development, growth all requires action, constant action. So we want to make sure that people are taking action in, as a sales professional, you want to have an understanding of how your customer or prospect is going to take action. Some are going to be slower at taking action. Some are going to be quicker at taking action. Some are going to waffle and change their mind a lot. So there's a sense of having a sense of where your prospect or conversation or partner, whoever you're talking to, is coming from socially, or as I say, through those three parts of the mind, the feeling, the thinking, the doing, is really critical. So once you know that you're looking, you may see that, oh, this is my social style, and I'm looking for people who need what I can bring. So as an example, my style is to take action. So I'm looking for people who have a need for action in their doing profile, let's say. They want to take action, but they're not as comfortable taking action without somebody leading them. So that's, where our, that's why we use red. That's why we talk about red hot business development, because we are the fire that they need, both emotionally, intellectually, and in their action.
No, I love what you said. People buy with how they feel. So, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that question. So next question on connection. When connecting with your clients, it's critical to understand your client's world. So share with us the importance of understanding your client's world when connecting with your client.
We have an amazing masterclass called Find Your Next Best Client. And it takes, the conversation goes through 10 points to get a deeper understanding of your client. No more is it good enough to know how old they are, or if they're male or female, or where they live, or what kind of car they drive. You need to know so much more. And and generally speaking, all of this information is very available to anyone you're having a conversation with or you're prospecting with. You just need to ask the right questions. And so what we like to do is, okay, so there's a couple of demographic things you might need to know. Maybe your services are only appropriate locally or, nationally or whatever. There's a certain geographical area, but that's too much. You need to really narrow the focus and get clear on the niche that you are operating in, the lane you want to be in, and the lane where you can have the most impact and give people real case studies that are going to help them see themselves and see how you're the solution, you're the transformer that they're looking for.
You're absolutely right. I think we don't repeat it enough. I think it's not about asking questions, but asking the right questions. And I think that people take that for granted. And I think that what you do with your organization, how you speak with clients, you do a lot of preparation to to ask the right questions. So
100%.
we all heard about the three following elements, verbal, vocal, and a visual. So tell us how these three elements, verbal, vocal, and visual, play an important part in connecting with clients.
I love that. I'm not sure I ever heard that it has three V's stacked up like that. So I love that. I call it the GPS of communication. The reason I call it that is that pretty much I can guarantee that nothing sticks to anyone that hears it once or sees it once or experiences it once. But once they've experienced it 3 times, maybe from 3 different angles, 3 different, maybe it was an email, then it was a phone conversation, then they saw it on a website, or maybe they saw it on social media, or maybe somebody they know repeated it to them. Once you get the 3, which could very much relate to the visual, vocal, sorry, what's the third one, Dominic?
Verbal, vocal, and visual.
And visual, yes. So we all have different learning styles. And, personally, I'm very visual. So if somebody says something to me, I might forget. But if I see it, I won't forget, right? But you don't know. So you need to plan. And when we're strategizing, we try to address all of those 3 with every campaign or every initiative we take on.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I think that the fact that it's not strictly focusing on one of the 3 V's, but it's really understanding our client to basically adapt, right? And to see what really makes them move forward. So I do have one final question on connection for you, Laural. So as a sales leader and professional, we are often asked to deliver a sales presentation, to a large group. Describe to us the way you structure and deliver your presentation or presentations to adapt to all, social styles in the room.
That's great. Well, I can tell you that I have I use a communication strategy before I make any presentation, before this conversation, before a phone call, before, I speak to 100 people or I speak to 3 people. So this sets my mind to key into the tone that I want to impart. I also want to be really clear on what action or result I want from the conversation. Is there a call to action? Is there a small nudge next step? Is there something that I want them to download? Is there I want them to sign up for a newsletter? Do I want them to hire me to do another presentation to 1,000 people? Whatever it is, I'm very clear about my goal, but I am there to serve the people I'm speaking to. So I am never there to serve myself. I am there to mindfully of what I trust to be the next, action if I need to, not to be afraid of asking if there's a call to action and putting it out there, but I am aware that I am there to create a transformation for the people that I'm speaking to. I am there to always add value. That's my value proposition, always add value. And I like to start with stories. I like to start with stories that are true for me, that are from my experience, and that make what I'm going to talk about relatable to the people that I'm presenting to. And I honestly, Domenic, I don't think it matters the size. You might, my gestures might need to be bigger on a big stage compared to our little, a little video window like this. But I think the connection comes from being authentic, being relatable, being personable, and connecting with the audience to the story that you want them to understand through analogy or through them appreciating where I've come from.
No, Laural, you're absolutely correct. And there was one thing that really stood out is when you mentioned, we're there to serve, right? And I think that it's absolutely key, right? So we are there to serve our clients. So thank you for sharing all those great insights. So Laural, it was a pleasure having you as our guest today. For all our attendees, to know more about Impagination and how Laural and her team may help you and your organization, Laural's contact information will be appearing on the screen at the end of the show. Thank you again, Laural.
Thank you so much, Domenic. This was really fun, and I hope everybody takes away at least one tidbit that moves the needle for them.
Oh, I'm sure they will get a few tidbits. So thank you for that. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for attending our podcast today. Please stay tuned for our next podcast, where we will bring you another industry leader who is creating tremendous value and growth and creating, in their own way, phenomenal and legendary results. To learn more on how we are creating sales legends, please click on the link below to access free training to help you achieve sales legend status and to learn more about the Ultimate Sales Legend Program. Once again, thank you, and keep striving to be phenomenal and legendary.